So, again, takes long to tell it that it happened, but our son and the guy who owns the sugar shack, the sugar bush, were standing outside there. One of them caught the drill, and the other guy got the snowmobile, and I find myself laying out in the laneway with my foot not in very good shape. They called an ambulance to come get me, and that was an experience. But by the way, if anybody here works on, what do they call those people? E-something. EMTs or EMSs or EM somethings. If you work on one of those, settle your debate before you get to the patient. You know, when they came to pick me up, it was a big guy about my size and a little petite woman. And this was before they had those automatic gurneys that raise up and down by themselves. And they got my leg kind of stabilized. And he grabbed the foot end of that thing. You know which end is heavier? The body is not the foot end. And she's walking around to get the other end, and she's whining. I don't know why you always give me the heavy end, and then forthwith drop me. It's like, settle that before you get to here. But they got us loaded. They got me loaded and took me to the hospital, and then took me to the next hospital 60 miles away. And by then, it's been a long time. There's been lots of pain, and again, I don't know if you've ever had a really seriously dislocated bone, but it's a lot of fun when they put those things back in place. You know, the surgeon didn't surgery. He just grabbed my heel in one hand and my toe and my foot in the other hand, and started twisting. And yeah, that's what I thought too. And finally he looked up at me. He'd gotten it partway straight, and he looked at me and he said, "You're not doing very well, are you?" And I said, "No, I'm not." And he said, "Well, Mr. Sams, I can't give you any more morphine. I'll kill you." And I thought, I don't care. Go ahead. That's how bad it was. But he got up. He just stood up. He'd been sitting on a little stool working on it, and he was sweating. It was hard work for him. But he got up and walked out. He didn't say anything. He just left. And 2 or 3 minutes later, he walked back in with a nurse. And she walked around to the left side of the gurney and just reached down and took my hands. And that's all she did. She didn't say anything. She just held my hands while he finished the process of straightening my leg. And I thought about, in fact, I've told Melville repeatedly, I wish I knew who she was. I would dearly love to be able to go to her and say, "Thank you for saving my life." Because that human touch, for me, was the difference between life and death. And I've often thought about John. He's alone. From his point of view, it's dark, difficult. But Jesus showed up, and he just touched him on his shoulder with his right hand. Listen, if you walked with Christ long, your touch may not have been as vivid as John, but you felt that touch. Jesus is saying to John, "I know you're alone. I know you're in exile, but I'm still here. I care, and I care deeply." I want to tell you this morning, whatever's going on in your life, he cares, and he cares deeply. One other quick thought before we go. As John worshiped, Jesus also showed him not only his majesty and his ministry, but he also showed him his immediacy. What do you mean by that? I mean by that this. Jesus is saying to John, "Fear not, I'm the first and the last." He's saying, I'm available before anything else was, and I will be available after everything else is. You know, I don't know if that brings hope to you, but it does to me. I don't know what's happening in our world. I care, but not that much. Because I know a Christ who was here long before anything we're facing came. And if the Lord tarries, we'll be here long after anything we understand is gone. I'm the first and the last. And you and I can walk and live and minister in the confidence that the God we serve is bigger than the circumstances of our life or of our world. Notice as well that he says, I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. I love this little phrase. I am he that liveth and was dead and am alive forevermore. What was Jesus saying to John? He's saying to him this: I am forever identified with humanity. His birth, life, death, and resurrection forever identified him with us. We can have the confidence that in heaven, in eternal heaven, God represents us. He knows you. He knows me. He knows what we wrestle with. He was tempted in all the same ways we are tempted. He understands humanity because he has forever identified himself with us. Your circumstance, though it may be difficult, Jesus knows. He knows where you are. He understands who you are, and he knows what you're facing. And one other quick thought in regard to his immediacy is that he says, I'm alive forevermore. He is always available to us. The Old Testament prophet said, it's not a secret. You don't have to go to heaven or across the sea to find him. He's as close, the songwriter said, he's as close as the mention of his name. And he is saying to John, and he's saying to us, I'm that close. I'm that near you. I'm that available. Whatever happens in your life, the confidence is he's here. He cares. And John's revelation shows us in a new and fresh way what an awesome, incredible, beautiful God that we have to worship. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor.